Not every time. Have you added any value? If you've demonstrable, for example, if you've added 5 product lines, you've done this, you've done that, yeah, you've added value. And then they'll say, well, I mean, has any of that value been driven to the top line yet? A little of it, but we've added 5 products, and if we base the other 4 products on the first product line, and you extrapolate the numbers, and they'll let you refinance it. And every time you do a refinance, you pull money out. Every single time. Every time you refinance, you pull, and you give money to everybody, from the chairman down to the guy that sweeps the floors. You give $1,000 to the janitor, I mean, you have no idea what that means. You have no idea. I've got cousins that are janitors. I mean, so there was another question.
So the manager that you hire to manage the business is very...
No, the CEO, and you're going to be... You're going to have CEOs. Most of you need a CEO. And the CEO should be, hopefully, in the first acquisition. Remember, you're going to be the founding director, you know, or you're the director of business development. You call yourself whatever the fuck you want. But and as I've told you, the last few guys that I've shown you examples all had between 50 and 63%. They were able to keep between 50 and 63% of the deal. And a few of them the guys I didn't show you, a few of them got thrown out too. You know, I don't be disingenuous. You know, we do have guys that, we had a guy, his CEO, I told you already, his CEO, CFO, and CFO, CEO, and COO all stole the deal and got an Israeli private equity firm to do the deal and threw him in the street unceremoniously.
So what percentage now, with all your experience, what percentage do you think that you should do or you should give now in order to keep the control, but at the same time keep them happy?
You're going to give between 30 and 40% away. 30 and 40. And it depends how powered of a CEO and chairman that you get. You should be able, and tomorrow when we talk about structuring the board, you should be able to get a good chairman for 10%, and you should be able to get a good CEO for 5 and 7%, and you should be able to get a good CFO between 3 and 5. All the rest of the directors, 2. So just, okay, 2 industry experts, that's 4. In-house lawyer, 2, that's 6. In-house accountant, 2, that's 8. Chairman, let's say 15, that's 23. CEO, 7, that's 30. CFO, 5, that's 35. And if in Dr. Joe's case, he's got a couple others. But you should have 35 out. That leaves you with 65. And in some of the guys, I think Joe's one of them, he keeps 10 in a pool to give to, not necessarily directors, but to give key employees in acquisitions that you want to keep. Make sure that they know that you love them. You give them 1/2 a point, 1 point, 1.5 points. So he's got a slush pool of 10% extra, or as they say in Texas, extra, a little extra. And guys, it's monopoly money. It's not your fucking money. It's pretend money. And that's very hard for you guys to get over. It's nothing. Remember, you came to this without a fucking pot to piss in, no window to throw it out of. You're on your fucking ass, most of you. You got nothing. Nothing from nothing is fucking nothing. Nothing on to nothing is fucking nothing. What do you want? 60% of 100 million or 100% of your fucking nothing that you got now? It's a pretty simple equation. But it's still going to be hard because you're going to, like you're giving them platinum or something. The best analogy is it's monopoly money. When you buy the house on Park Place, that's Park Place is monopoly. Park Place, and it's $1,100. Sometimes you got to pay $4,000 to get the house, right? You don't give a shit. It's monopoly money. And I don't mean that in a disingenuous way that you're going to take advantage and spend the investors' money slipshod way. I don't mean any of that. But I mean, it's, remember, you got no money in this deal. None. Zero. My cost basis of my stock in Great Western was, remember, I had $820 in it, was .000000082 That was my stock basis in every share. So less than 1/10,000th of a penny. That's my stock basis. I never forgot it. And the director stock basis is 0.00000 because they put up no money. So don't forget that. It's the only game in town, short of a mask and a gun and robbing a bank, that you can do this. There isn't any other. That's it. Now, a couple of the lads went into the banks with masks and guns, but I'm not teaching how to do that. Yeah.
I was wondering, where do we make the equity that we give away effective? Is that articles of association or the equity that we give away to the CEO, the CFO?
No, it comes out of the 100%. It's part of the articles. It's the incorporation. When you incorporate the LLC, whatever it is, you're taking it out of. There's really no equity in the company. You know, you start the company for $100 or $1,000. You can start a company on the internet for $50 or 50 pounds or something. Okay, I'm not suggesting you do it that way. I'm suggesting you do it legit. You have your lawyers do it, because then they can do the right articles of association, the right this, the right that, and But you might have $1,000 to start the company. You might. Some of the kids actually do it for 50 pounds on the internet. I've never done that, but you can. So, but that means there's no equity in the company. Now, in certain cases, certain parts of the world, you have to have a paid-in capital. Okay? Yeah. But I'm not, but for the most part, you don't have to do that. And the paid-in capital is not that much money anyway. Yep.
Sort of going back to refinancing just briefly. When you refinance and you say you take out 100 grand or whatever, $1 million, you're going to distribute it between yourself and all. Is everyone, who's going to be aware of how much equity you release? Like, the CFO is obviously going to.
Are you trying to be sneaky?
Well, yeah, we're kind of finding out who's going to get upset about who got.
Well, I mean, everybody on the board is going to expect the founder to take the most. I don't mind eating last as long as I eat fucking most. I'm going to say that again. I don't mind eating last as long as I eat most. You're the one that did all this shit. And so you deserve most. Just let me finish answering the question. So when you do $1 million and you take 100 grand out to pay distribution, you're probably going to take 30. And you're going to pay and you don't give the directors, and this is important for a different reason. One director has 2%, and another director has 5%, and another director has 10%. You give them all the same amount of money. Okay, you don't give him 1/5 as much as the guy with 10. Okay, so you would give, let's say, out of 100, you take 30. You give all the directors 10 grand each, and that'll leave you 20 left. And then I'd spread out 1 or 2 grand to key employees, including the janitor, the guy that parks the car. You have no idea what secretary that gets 2 grand, because nobody giving her anything. All they want, they don't even get a grab in the ass anymore because of sexual harassment. At least in the old days, they got a grab in the fucking ass, They might get to hump the CEO or something. Now, so all the benefits of being an executive secretary are gone now. So, give him 2 grand. Is that right? All the bennies, huh? Okay, there's another.
If after you've done several acquisitions with different banks, is there a situation where you should refinance under one bank?
You can. You go to when you have a bunch of credits out, I mean, now you got some latitude because they've seen, you've done $25 million in financing or 25 million euros or pounds. Okay, now when you go to the bank, you've got some leverage. I've got these 4 deals, 4 banks, and I want to roll them up. What will you do for me? And they'll see, and you're current with the credit and blah, 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 blah. And they may even know somebody at the bank, and they're not supposed to do that, but they call. And he said, why are you asking about him? Oh, no, nothing, click. And they'll say, yeah, we'll roll the whole deal. And when you roll the whole deal, this is on the last day, but again, you're getting ahead of it, but I'll tell you now. When you do a big roll-up refinancing of the deal, okay, now you want special rates for your mortgages. You want special rates for your car loans. You want unlimited credit cards. I mean, you check every motherfucking on the list that you can think of. Okay? You want to go to the Lakers games. You want to go to the World Cup. You want to go. I got guys going to the Super Bowl that haven't even done a fucking deal yet. They got these tickets. I got a bunch of guys going to, what's it called, the golf tournament between U.S. and Europe? Ryder Cup. They're going, because they got these tickets. They've spent this money. The big banks have. And big insurance companies even pay more money. We haven't gotten to that source yet. We'll get to that tomorrow. But big insurance companies even have more money. And they're used to, they're used to spreading it around. They're used to spreading it around. Why anybody would take any of my kids to the fucking Super Bowl is beyond my comprehension. Hasn't done any fucking deal yet. I remember seeing many years ago one of my kids sitting in the box of the Indianapolis. No, the basketball. Indiana Pacers with the white basketball player next to Larry Bird in the fucking box. He's was the coach. I don't know if he's still the coach, but he's the owner, part owner. I see on the TV, I was, huh? Sitting next to Larry motherfucking Bird and the goddamn in the owner's box. Fucking little dipshit. And they take you to Wimbledon. They take you to Ascot. They take you to whatever, the season. Of course, I'm sure you guys have all been part of the season. It starts in late April. Starts with the Chelsea Flower Show. And it goes through, the Open Championship is the end of the season, which is the Golf Open Championship. And you go through Wimbledon. We used to have the bencher seats in Wimbledon. If I'd known, I wouldn't have bought the fucking bencher seats. If I'd known they were just going to take me, but I bought the bencher seats, the seats at Wimbledon. And that's that. And then you just you want this, you want that. I've not so much now because they're more. I've had the corporate jet take the kids places. The bank jet. Yep.
Worst case scenario, some of the board is leaving or you fire them, then you have to give part of that 65% to hire another one? Or?
No, well, I've told you I've only had 3 problems in all the years where I had where I threw them out and they own stock, because them being a minority shareholder, they have no rights, and so now if the company's worth $300 million and they're minority shareholders, but again, we'll get to this last day. You have push-pull agreements, okay? Meaning, we already agree on a specified formula to value the shares, and I buy you or you buy me. Now, so you have 2% and we control 98%. It's not likely you're going to buy me, so I'm going to buy you. And so, but you come to that agreement, how you're going to value it, and what's called one of the methodologies is a push-pull agreement.
In the beginning?
Yep, in the beginning.
So in case they leave.
Well, no, you also have in your articles of incorporation, if you leave, even though you're not vesting, if you leave before such and such, you forfeit your shares. And that's why you don't do it before you get a fucking deal, because now you're rolling all that work by the law firm, the accounting firm, into your first deal fees. It's all part of the fees. Because you don't have any money to put together a good corporate structure. It's $50, $100 with all the things, the bells and whistles that we've alluded to. But you got to go. Oh, they say we got to have a company. We got to have a meeting. Well, then why don't you go find a board position on a fucking other company that needs a meeting, and don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. When they push, you got to push back harder.
So it's your response because I want to do fucking deals. I don't want to waste time.
No, it's your response because you don't need you don't need to have a meeting. What are you going to talk about? You guys, for the most part, and the guys, you don't know anything.
Exactly.
And the sooner they find out you don't know anything, the worse your position is.
They could do a hostile takeover.
Oh, listen to her now. Oh, yeah, now she's the fucking expert. Hostile takeover. They're going to be shooting them in the streets now. Hostile. You can't even spell fucking hostile takeover. No, but hostile takeover is when you're trying to take somebody else. But as long as you have over 50.1%, they can't do a hostile takeover. Because you'll just ask for an extraordinary general meeting, convene a new slate of board members, throw the other board members off, and you got a new board, and you start all over again. It's inconvenient because, it takes time because you got to give them 2 weeks notice, and you got to do some other crap. Yes, sir.
As far as the relationships with the bank,
is this a Haitian kind of deal, or is this a white man deal from Connecticut, or what?
This is a white man deal.
Okay.
So you got some board members, and let's say you want to fire them. At that point, do you have to update the bank and say, hey, we have new board members?
Okay, that's a very good question. I'm surprised that you come up with a question like that, but it's a good question. Yes. Do you have to tell them before you fire them? No. Okay. But after, and I recommend you tell the bank after you've replaced them. Because all they're going to be, not all, but one of their main concerns is going to be continuity. And so, when in your particular case, they'll be leaving you. You won't be firing anybody. They'll be leaving like fucking rats off a sinking ship. Okay, and the bank will get nervous, and so you want to show continuity that you're still in business. Yeah, you should be so lucky as to fire anybody. I can just see those big fucking rats as big as cats leaping into the water, and him on the deck like the Titanic yelling at him. And you should be having fun like this with your deal. You should be having fun. Now, I say that, but as soon as stress will overtake some of this, but you should be having fun. And you should be able to talk this way to your chairman. And I just saw a copy of my son's monthly little news update to his board. And and it's really important that you keep them apprised of what's going on so they don't think that they're abandoned. So just as you are apprehensive about contacting them because you got nothing really good to say, you think, they feel you abandoned them. Just like some of you should have been abandoned and fucking at the hospital, and we wouldn't be having this goddamn problem. You should have been, they should have left you at Mother Teresa's in the fucking drawer. Okay, good night.